With 30 traps spread out over 2 counties, Mark and his team of technicians had their hands full. Each trap had to be checked every day regardless of weather conditions. More often than not, when a trap was sprung, it was something other than a bobcat. All non-target species were released unharmed.
During the course of checking traps, we've had everything from a red-tailed hawk, skunks, raccoons, possums are pretty much a daily occurrence. Catching porcupines during the summer happens quite a bit, and so we've had our share of sprayings and we've had our share of being quilled at different points, but yeah, we've caught quite a few different things.
When a bobcat is caught, the first step is to give the cat a sedative to relax it for the collaring process.
Do we want to try and move the cage away from the rock?
I'm worried about this door. I don't want to give him the chance to get out. I've got my foot basically bracing it in place.
He's already blown it out of the tracks.
The
wire
it's
is
the
the
wires
only
that's
thing
holding it in place.
To administer the injection, the cat has to be pinned to one end of the cage to keep it still.
You in? Nice.
I think okay.
You want me to take it out and try and move it?
Yeah, he's a good-sized cat. When we first started the project, we were heading up into a lot of the real rocky, more remote areas, thinking that historically that's where the cats were, that's where we were going to find the cats, and we actually saw very little cat sign in those areas. We did see some, and we have caught some cats in these remote areas, but we started seeing a lot more sign down in the valley, in more suburban areas, if you will, and in residential areas. And so we started actually doing some trapping on private property in some of these backyards, and it has given local residents the opportunity to actually get pretty close to these cats once we're there and processing these animals.
Processing the cats takes 45 minutes to an hour. Estimates on age and weight are recorded, and several measurements are taken. The goal is to collect as much data as possible while the cat is still in hand. Each cat also receives an ear tag for identification. Then the cat is fitted for the GPS collar.
The collars are twofold. They're a traditional radio collar in the sense that they transmit a radio signal, and that's historically what radio collars have always been. Our collars have the extra component of having the GPS system on board, which is going to take a location every 20 minutes, and it stores that information on board. The reason that we've got the radio transmitter as well is so we can keep tabs on the cats during those 130 days that the collars are on. The GPS does not upload in real time. We've got to get the collar back to make sure that we get that data, so we need to make sure that we know where that cat is over the course of those 4 months.
It's an armful, huh?
Once the collar is in place, the cat is put back in the cage for several hours to allow the drug to wear off before it is released. With the collar on and the cat released back into the wild, the tracking begins. For the next 130 days, each cat will be located using radio telemetry equipment.
The nice thing about the collars is when you're doing radio telemetry, and especially with animals of this size, with home ranges this size, you're pretty limited in the number of locations you could collect over a course of a week or however long the collar's on. But with the GPS component, we're going to end up with quite a few data points at the end of the day.
The telemetry signal is used to get a ballpark location of the study cats, which are rarely seen again other than an occasional quick glimpse. The signal changes when a collar has been stationary for an extended period, indicating that it has fallen off as designed and it's time to retrieve it. As of May 2006, 15 bobcats have been equipped with collars. Although just a few of the collars have been retrieved, the preliminary data is already providing researchers with an amazing look at the daily lives of Vermont's bobcats.
Like, she's definitely using something here as a corridor. Now that might be power lines. The data we're getting back has been tremendous. So when we do get the collar back in hand, what we've been able to download has been great. We've had collars that have given us over 2,000 locations for those 4 months. We've been able to see that the cats are interacting differently with different class roads. They're avoiding or using underpasses in the case of really busy, heavy roads, and in other cases where it's a small dirt road, they're using them to travel on. So there's been an opportunity for us to study behavior with the cats, and then we've also been able to really look at habitat selection and see what habitat types the cats are using. It's still preliminary data we're getting, and we're still getting collars back, and we're still analyzing it, but what we've been seeing so far has been great.
Researchers intend to use the thousands of GPS data points collected during the study to paint a vivid picture of how bobcats are using the available habitat in Vermont. This information will be integrated into management and land use plans, which will hopefully allow these shy and mysterious creatures to flourish in our midst for generations to come.
There's a lot of intrinsic value, I think, in bobcats. There aren't many big carnivores left in the Northeast at all, and to have one that's been able to hang on through the land use and development of this forest over the last couple hundred years is pretty impressive.